everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the black pieces against the 1961 from Ukraine. Let's go ahead with the modern, see what we have in store. I've been seeing a lot of knight c3s, knight f3s at the same time. We'll go with the rat. We love the rat. It's always quite fun. And hopefully we should be in for a fun game. We're getting up there in the ratings a bit, I will say. Hopefully 2000's on the horizon. I don't want to say anything. Bishop d3 is interesting. We've come across this before, and we played this d5 knight e4 line after e5, and it's not ideal. I sort of researched why it was not ideal, and I asked my coach. The reason is because the main line is knight c3 if you want to decline it, and then d5 e5. Knight there, knight takes, pawn takes, and that's actually stopping the bishop developing to d3, which is the whole point. And with that same line, but with bishop takes, pawn takes, the knights actually become a threat rather than giving you this sort of outpost on e4. That's the point. So we're going to have to play this more like a perk. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. I can't help it. It's not ideal for me. It's not what I want. But potentially we can change it into a bit more of a King's Indian. It's important to know that in the modern, the knight doesn't usually come to f6 straight away. You hold it off a bit. Which is annoying, I guess. That is a bit misplaced now. But hey. They've played a queen d2, looking for this bishop h6 line. We can probably go ahead and castle here. And I was actually researching this a bit with a friend at the club. They're probably planning to long castle, and I've always found that very difficult to attack with. And this guy's like a 2200 almost, which is crazy. So he's giving me a few tips, and it's all about, well, what he says is all about judging whose attack is more powerful and getting a balance between attacking and defending rather than going all out attack or all out defense. Knowing when to concede a move, when to ignore a move and attack and all that good stuff. So we will see. We will see if I've taken any of that on board, and hopefully have an okay game. Yeah, there we go. H4, which is the usual premise for these sorts of attacks. They wanna kick out. They're undeveloped. They're just going for a fast attack. The move he mentioned was H5. We could get around that by doing a bishop takes, queen takes, knight G4, H5. Problem is F3 is coming with a tempo, but we do get a tempo on the queen as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's take. Do you want to take? We could go knight G4 straight away. Bishop takes, king takes. But then H5 is practically being invited. So we'll go for this. We'll go for this. The problem we have is that we don't actually have much of an attack going. But then again, they are seriously underdeveloped. So potentially it could be okay. We have to be wary of like a queen g5, but then we probably just go h5. F4, g4, and they have breaks. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have pawn breaks, because they do. But yeah, it's something to be cautious of, I think is the word. We could go h5. I think we probably have to go h5, right? We can't allow h5 from them. We can't allow it for sure. We could get both the knights in. The problem with that, while it looks good defensively, you're potentially sacking some activity. You're getting rid of your attack, basically, which is not something I particularly am fond of. I like going on the attack, and I like being in control of the game somewhat. I was thinking like an e5, but that doesn't really work after queen takes. So we're just gonna have to move this knight back. We gotta do what we gotta do, you know. We could think of a knight h7 to hit the queen if they go for like a g4. Things are tight though. I think we just have to, if they're so willing to go with underdevelopment and a weakened king, then we just have to play this out. And now they're sort of looking to develop a bit more and get some more pieces in the action. We can think about a knight h7 is interesting. I don't know whether that's worth it or not, though. I don't know whether that's worth it or not. It's tough. Long castles, we can't sit by and let them do what they want. We just can't. Probably like an a6. And then we play for this. We could just hit the queen and play like an e5. It stops them going e4. But then pawn takes. The rooks are coming in. A bit scary. We definitely do need our own attack sort of drumming up. How we do that now, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. I think c5 could be playable. So let's play it. Let's play it and see what happens. I'd like to get rid of this light square bishop if possible. But I'm not sure. Because it could be a good attacking piece, especially if they manage to get a sacrifice off. Luckily, we have knight h7, which is a tempo on the queen. So we have some time to get our house in order. By some time, I mean like a move. But yeah. We're looking for these pushes. I don't think d5 is a good move for them. Which is good for us. Which is good for us. Yeah. I think here a knight e5 could be good. With a c4. And we start to push some of these up. That could work. The problem is they still have like f4s. But after a4 we have knight g4. Which is nice. So I think we can actually go e5 here. I think we can. And we're well looking for c4. Yeah, I mean, that's about it, really. That is about it. They pre-move the bishop back, which I think is probably smart. It stops our knight going to g4, although the bishop is still controlling that square, so potentially they've slowed down their attack a bit. And we have the two knights on that as well, so that's quite nice, I think. That's quite nice. And we can start looking for these big pushes now. What's that knight doing there? We have a king g7 if we need it. So I think we push b5. I think this is ignorable. I think. This is where it all goes wrong. Because like, you make one misjudgment on these attacks. And all of a sudden things are looking scary. I think here queen a5 is a good idea. Making the threat of b4 queen takes a2. Is huge, I think. And this would be a concession for them. Like king b1, huge concession, I think. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that, I think. We just have to figure out how we sort of continue it. This knight is trapped, actually. It's just a trap knight. It's just a trap knight. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think, I don't even know there what's better. Maybe just any pawn push provokes my breaks. That's the problem. And this is where the problem comes in for white, you know. They've had this good attack and they've had their chance. They've slowed down their attack with like, maybe a knight h3 is fine. But going like bishop e2, not pushing these pawns straight forward, castling late as well. They need to get this rook. Their attack basically doesn't work unless they get this rook in the game somehow. And for that, they need to long castle or they need to get the king up somehow. So I'm happy to sort of live a bit riskier here, I think. And this is all speculation because I am not a master of these positions. I don't know much. I'm just going based on my feeling and what I sort of learned from my discussion with that 2200. You know, so yeah. I just take the knight, surely. The knight is still trapped. I could just go... Then again, there is no threat because knight takes, right? Just take the knight. Just take the knight. I think I just take the knight. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I've got threats of queen b4 if they don't deal with this. Which is just devastating, right? Just devastating. There's nothing else to it. I mean, queen b4, queen a3. King there, rook there. They're making huge concessions already. You know, we can start to get this pawn working. And then the queen and the rook are on the same file for the a2 pawn. It sort of plays itself, to be honest. Sort of plays itself. So, what have we got? Up, queen moves, king moves. Wait, no, up, queen moves is just mate, right? They can't stop this. Knight covers this d3 square, which is important. At which point, yeah, this is just mating. There's not much they can do, to be honest. So yeah, I think we did pretty well there. I think we did pretty well. And then queen a3, right? Works. Queen a3 just works. Ah, they've got no queen there. Knight covers. Beautiful. That was beautiful. I'm proud of that one. You know, I'm not like usually that proud. Like, you have good games and you're happy. I'm proud of this one because I took into account what I learned with my discussion with that 2200, and I think I successfully implemented what I learned, which is happy to know, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. I'm proud. I'm just proud of it. It might not have been the best game, although we did get 98.7 accuracy. Happy with that. Versus 66.6, 1700 versus 2400. Let's have a look. So yeah, bishop d3. I'll show you why this doesn't work. So the main line is knight c3. There. Knight takes, pawn takes. And you can see the bishop no longer comes to d3. If we switch this around, pawn push, knight there, bishop takes, it actually becomes a target, does this pawn, rather than a blocker, you know. Still apparently even. I don't know. I'm not going to do that though. So we played d6, turned it into more of a perk, a modern, whatever you want to call it. Apparently e5 is a way to play this, I guess. Makes sense. You're sort of limiting their play in the center, I guess. But we went for this side push, and taking the bishop was the right thing to do. h4 is a bit soon. I like the idea of using the bishop to stop h5. But I just think you need to get castled first. I think you need to get castled first. Apparently we can just leave this here. And then you focus on e5, which I guess blocks in this bishop semi-permanently. Which is good. We played 94, not the best. Not the best. And then h5 to secure, and then the knight comes back, which is all best moves, by the way. Brilliant. The knight moves, and we start our attack here. So this is plus 1.1, so better for white. And I think they do have the easier plan, but the problem is the moment they step their foot off the gas, it becomes harder for them to actually make their attack, which we sort of saw, especially with this d5 move. It locks in their bishop. You really want to either be leaving this or taking this, I think. Pushing is the wrong thing to do. It locks in this knight, and it's giving me sort of free reign on the queen side to do what I want, basically. It gives this hole on e5 as well, which I really like. Apparently you can just push b5 straight away, which is insane. You just don't care that they can take this with either the knight or the bishop. They're probably going to take with the knight, I reckon. No, take with the bishop. Really? Or just leave it, I guess. And the whole point is that you get the open file, and you get this pawn, potentially. c4 is a move they can do, but then e6, and then, yeah, you're not castling anytime soon. Anytime soon, which is the whole point. But we secured it with a6 first, apparently giving white some slight play because it's a bit slow. Knight h3 is not ideal, but where else are you putting this knight? You can't go there. So it has to go to h3. Bishop takes, apparently a plan. I didn't think the knight was too scary on f4, but I can see how it can lead to some sort of tactics. I would be a bit scared of opening up the file, but you know, computers are computers. They're going to compute, so they're going to compute. Okay, long castles. I think you had to castle at some point. It would be very scary not to. Apparently, queen h6 is the whole idea. Still sort of even. Bishop takes. And then, yeah, I would be considering like a h7 or something, just to be on the safe side a bit. And then this knight can come over to f6, potentially. And you can still play on the queen side a bit, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Queen a5 might not have been the best, but you can see it's a bit of a shock move, I think. White's realizing that all of a sudden my attack has come through, and they have to do something about it, otherwise b4 is a huge threat. This is saying b4 first. Knight a4, then what? Sorry. Queen a5, and the knight is still not nice. b4, and then c4. f4 apparently. No. Bishop b7. Oh, when you're looking to take this knight, that's quite tidy. I like that. That's a huge disruption to their plan, and they have to continue the attack. Knight takes a4 is nice, hitting the queen, and I like this a lot for black. King b1 is why I like queen a5. They're scared. They realize their attack has to actually compete with mine rather than them just going all out, and they made a mistake. The best move is just f4, keeping that train going. And we have a bit of a takes train. Takes. We don't have the same impact as them, so we have to deal with this. We can't go knight e4 because this knight is still here. So the best move is knight ge4. Knight eg4. Sorry. Potentially opening up your king side, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That looks pretty solid to me, I think. That looks pretty solid. f5 needs to be considered. I would consider a king g7. Apparently a miss. You just continue. You ignore it, which is insane. But yeah, wow. And then b4. Trap knight. We take the knight. Apparently the knight goes to a4 just to avoid this mating threat that we saw. Which is smart. That's a hard one to consider though, because you're not developing any of your attack on the king side. This is, yeah, I mean, this is nasty. It's saying you've got to go rook there, which makes sense. Knight takes secures the position a bit. Whether that's the best move or not, I don't know. Apparently not. Rook b8, wow, beautiful. And then after rook takes, you've got queen takes with similar threats. Not quite as dangerous, but still not where you want to be at all. And then this is just mating. There's nothing they can do. Wow, I'm really happy with that. I hope you guys are as well. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.